Well, Iran war, what? The markets do not care. They are ripping higher. The macro backdrop is quietly getting a little more fragile day by day, it seems, but the market seems to be shaking it off just fine. We may have a deal or no deal, depending on who you're listening to right now. Inflation data came in. We're going to talk about that today. Our updates around whether or not there's going to be any rate cuts this year. We've got some good arguments. Mr. Breedwell may have called the bottom of the market. We are flipping from bearish to bullish.
I am flipping shit.
We got a lot to cover. Stay tuned. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Money Moves. You like how I just threw that out there to see if he was actually listening. He's on his freaking phone right now, acting like he's paying attention, but he was. You call this man a bear, and that is like the just deepest insult to the soul.
Hurts my soul.
Well, we've got a lot of stuff going on. The markets are shrugging off the war risk. I mean, like, way more than I thought they were going to. I mean, you've been calling it. You've been saying it. Equities erase losses despite the escalating geopolitical tension. Is it going to hold?
Yeah.
Is it going to... I mean, it seems like every other day we get ceasefire, peace deal on the table, no peace deal. We're blockading the Strait of Hormuz. CPI came in a little bit higher. PPI came in, I think, relatively flat. We'll talk about all that today. But like overall, even, I mean, oil's jumping up and down like crazy. I saw that JP Morgan noted in, let me see if I can find it.
Right. They said mid-April run out of oil.
No, well,
They did say that.
but they reported a record $11.6 billion in trading revenue in the first quarter of 2026 as traders cashed in on an Iran war volatility. The bank posted its second best quarter in history ever, generating $16.5 billion in profit just in one quarter. That is insane. And I think if anything, right, that's just like one thing to point at going, things are still full steam ahead, and anybody that's investing, that's in the markets right now,
Whoever owns JP Morgan stock
is having fun. They're enjoying it. So just unpack things for us a little bit. Obviously, geopolitical tensions are still high. JD Vance was out in Pakistan trying to meet with Iranian leadership to come to an actual deal during the ceasefire.
Yep.
And the markets kind of responded a little bit poorly when he came to the podium and said, hey, no, crypto at least did. No peace deal. They're going back. And obviously, good news, bad news, the market always kind of responds a little bit. But come Monday morning, the market ripped.
Shaboing.
And I think we saw, over $600 billion injected back into the market in spite of a little bit of a jump in CPI and no
Headline CPI.
headline CPI.
Recorded move.
And no peace deal. And so the market kind of just shrugged it off, and now we're back to above before where the war started. All losses have been recouped. Everything you said, stand down, y'all. Just take it easy.
I said back the truck up is what I said, and I was not playing games. Maybe it's my lightheartedness. Maybe sometimes it's the way that I approach investing, as it's not that difficult. We have a good team that's picking and helping us find the investments that are good, but the psychology around investing really isn't that difficult. People make it difficult. I have the same thoughts you do. I just don't act on them. Hey, man, market's down. I don't like seeing my account balances fluctuate on paper. What should I do? Should I realize this loss? No, pump more into it, baby.
Just stay the course.
DP's in office. Donald Pump.
Donald Pump.
He's in office. You got to learn how to read the
You do.
signals, and it's taken me a couple years. The first time around, I was not as good as I have been this time around.
Because there's never been anybody that has moved markets the way he does.
No, and I used to take him at face value, and instead I take what is he implying by what he's saying.
What is
Yeah. I'm gonna wipe out an entire, civilization. Okay. He's not gonna do that. But what does he
come to the table?
But what does he essentially mean? Probably that he's not gonna balk. And they didn't. I mean, in that negotiation, I don't think the people that were sent for Iran were even the people that were in charge. I'm pretty sure they thought they would get they sent multiple planes. I think they thought that Israel was going to shoot one of the planes.
Yeah, they actually had concerns that that leadership group was going to get assassinated either on the way there or on the way back. So they didn't, from my understanding, was they couldn't give an actual answer while they were in Islamabad because they had to go back to Big Daddy Iran and get the final, yes, we'll agree to these things. No, we won't. So they really weren't in a place on Saturday to actually make a deal.
Yeah, and I think the last time they did negotiations like this was under the Obama administration. I just don't think they're used to being oh no, we're not doing any of it.
What was the first face-to-face negotiations in over 47 years with Iran?
Yeah, the last time they did any negotiations.
Oh yeah, yeah, right.
Okay, fly us a plane with some cash on the frozen net. You ain't getting shit. And that's what they're figuring out very quickly. They really are not getting anything. And I think they're used to posturing, and it scares, and it's not going to work.
Well, yeah, what did JD Vance say in yesterday's conference? Basically, Iran has been an economy terrorist to the entire world
47 years
for a very, very long time.
Shout out France.
They've been doing the, and so I think a lot of people are learning just how many moves the US has in this whole, I never knew, and I did, but I'm experiencing it firsthand. It's fun to see how powerful our Navy is. I knew we have the three best branches of, military in the world.
That's our best one.
That being said, though, you want to go and, you want to try and control this? No, we're just going to blockade it. Nobody's going to come in or out. We'll just chokehold your own economy, which they noted today was getting upwards of $400 billion loss a day. No food is coming in or out. Oil is not going out. So, there's so many different ways of warfare now that, we're used to seeing drop bombs, do this. It's oh no, we'll just control all your waterways.
We just, we believe we blockaded 8 ships today. And I think the only one we're letting transact still is China.
Correct. We're trying to be a little nice.
And Russia. I think what we're doing is saying, we're not going to play into your hand. Go ahead. Go for it. We can blockade everybody else, though, and they'll listen to us.
Yep.
And that's still going to hurt Iran. For the amount of people that will listen to us, which is 99%, it's still going to hurt Iran. And what it's doing is they're rerouting those ships to our trading partners, which is UAE. And we have a ton of ships on the way to the Port of LA, Port of Oakland, Boston, Florida. They're getting New York.
Oil tankers are coming to load up. So there's obviously a lot to unpack with, military strategy and how this is going. But overall, like what you said, right? It's not necessarily what he says, which is kind of wild how what he says is really what moves a lot of markets.
Yeah, it's what he means by what he says.
But it's what he's implying and what kind of the next 2 or 3 moves behind it and how those play out are really where you should be paying attention.
It's really, really difficult because it took me being wrong many times in the first administration to be what the heck? This is a guy that runs on, I'm going to do what I say. And a lot of people still lambast him for hey, he's not doing what he ran on. I think he is, but you just don't understand how he's doing it because he has a very unique way of doing it. Even I, to a degree, you've seen me in business. I have a very direct approach to business, and sometimes people take that as contentious, but it's not. I just have no time for any fluff. He's even like,
oh yeah,
way more than that.
tenfold.
And so that, I think, makes people uncomfortable. And because people are not used to being in that sphere, but that's where he like lives, it's hard for, it's like wrapping your brain around how big the universe is. You know, it's hard to think about because it's so foreign to your approach. And I don't always agree with the way that he goes about things, but they do seem to fan out in his favor more often than they don't. And so that's the thing I think that pisses people off about him, is his approach is abrasive and the fact that it somehow works a lot. So love him or hate him, and I've said it on here, recorded multiple times. I'm not going to go out and say he's the best guy ever, but the policy that he deploys, it works so well, and I just don't know why people. Well, I do know why. I don't get why people can't get out of their own way and just go make money. You know, I didn't like Biden. I didn't really like him one bit. You know, but I said my piece when I was upset. I got it out of my, my jar. And we went on, we made money. It was just the way that it works. I mean, I just don't get why people have to get so caught up in the politics of I have to like this guy. So I guarantee you most of the people that work a 9-to-5 job don't like their supervisors or bosses. So does that mean that you're just going to go to work tomorrow and say, fuck that person and tell them to go and call them? I mean, it's like, why do people think so differently? So you don't got to like who you work with. You got to work with them. And if the policy's working and the S&P 500 is moving up and the market's doing good and the world seems to be reacting well and the people of Iran that aren't batshit crazy are supportive of, what's really wrong? And you can see the market reacting. It was pretty clear to me that it was going to be, and I've been saying it from the whole time, this is going to recover. I didn't know when, but I knew we blew the shit out of them. I mean, frankly put, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
What position do they think they're going to fly some drones at us? And that's going to, we shot 3 reconnaissance planes out of the air already, like yesterday.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know where are they in a position to dictate what's going to happen? Really, it's how much more pain do you want? It's like watching somebody be waterboarded and then asking for more water.
Yeah.
That's literally what it's like watching. And the thing is, I think the current regime is so stupid. Just like the Japanese.
We don't even know what regime it is, right? I mean,
No, but just like the Japanese in World War II, they're so their ego is so hurt.
Yeah.
And it would hurt them so much visually to bend the knee to the United States. My opinion is all those people are going to have to die. I'm not wishing that upon them. They are pretty much directly wishing it upon themselves.
Had happened, to most of their leadership. And anybody knew that kind of gets, elevated up into a position, they get, kind of. And the other thing too that I am reading more on is because they have decentralized kind of factions within their government, there's a lot of infighting going on with all of these new people trying to scratch and claw for positions of power and leadership. So one says it's a ceasefire, the next day they're firing off, rockets and this and that over here and there. And so you can just tell they're so unorganized. They're really being exposed on the world stage right now, and they're getting out strategized and negotiated in a lot of ways. So, I mean, I'm very, if this all works out the way I think we all hope it will, and
it just needs to
and Trump even said this too. I want Iran to be treated like every other country in the world is treated. Like, we want you to participate with us. You just have to abide by rules like we all do.
Yeah.
And you have shown based on your actions historically, we can't give you a nuke. We're not going to give you a nuke. And I know that's one of the biggest talking point and line in the sand of it's not happening.
And reparations for war. No. And no.
So we'll see.
You can become a functioning member of the world economy. You can be not
It would be
blacklisted.
great for their society.
Yes, it would.
The world. I mean, they have so many great resources. They could be a rich and wealthy and
They were
thriving
they were on
country.
such a good trajectory.
What was it, the 70s?
Yeah, free would happen. Yeah, and France fucked it up for everybody. You guys want to be mad? Do some history research. They put the dude. They were actively trying to get rid of the current regime that is in power right now back in the 70s because democracy was really taking a hold there.
Mhm.
And the westernization of that
Yeah.
country was happening. And they didn't, and they went so it almost looks like they were like sat in a slow moving time machine. If you go there, like it literally looks like what you would think it looks like back in the fucking Bible times. I mean, literally that's what it looks like. And if you look at it, what it looked like in the 70s, it looked like a lot of developing countries in the 70s. They had cars, technology, women had rights. They were progressively moving, even like the United States. We were still adding that kind of stuff in that era. They just derailed themselves and completely went off on some weird stuff. The people of Iran are majority not a bad people. It's the leadership, and it's the extreme leadership of Iran.
Right?
Yeah, it's the problem. And you know what? I hope that they can do what's necessary. Just get on board with how the world works nowadays. You're never. The world will never accept Islamification of itself. They got to get past that. The world's never going to accept them as some sort of dominant power. They got to get past that. But they could be who they want to be within their borders by treating people correctly. And then they could be a functioning member of the world economy. And that would be great for everybody because they would potentially have a lot to offer and they would have a lot to benefit from. They just got to really, it's like you got to grow up and stop being the middle schooler in the room of adults. It's time to, we're past that kind of stuff now. Nobody kills each other over religious indifferences anymore. It's the modern world. People respect difference of spiritual opinion. They respect differences in all sorts of opinions.
Yeah.
It's just time to move. If you can't form yourself to that, then really the society is not the problem. You are the problem.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm so excited to announce if you are an investor looking to generate consistent passive income, then I've got something for you. I just launched the Amagos Income Fund. It is a private investment debt fund. So instead of relying on long-term appreciation or big exit events like most real estate syndications do, we decided to keep it simple. Focus on first position asset-backed lending just like a bank, meaning your investment is backed by real collateral and structured to produce income from day one. The target return, 10% paid out annually and also paid out monthly. So no guesswork, real passive returns, true mailbox money. And because we're in the debt position, not equity, we're able to prioritize downside protection, maintain shorter durations, and stay in control of the risk, which is most important in environments like this. This is built for investors who want steady cash flow, strong capital preservation, and real asset exposure without the headaches of owning, managing, and waiting years for a payoff. So if this resonates with you, if you want to learn more, I put together a full investor presentation breaking everything down. All you got to do is just text the word income to 844-447-1555. That's income to 844-447-1555. I'll send you everything so you can see if it's a fit for your portfolio. Yeah, well, and society will check you.
Yep.
And the way we operate the world now, right? You're gonna be held accountable, and it will check you. So obviously, with what's going on in the war, the operation, and when is that operation?
I don't know when the 60. I don't know when the 60 days is. I mean, we're close.
Yeah,
we got to be close.
Yeah, so you would imagine, right? I mean, and I know they have talks again, supposedly happening this Thursday.
That's like they're leveraging. I think their only leveraging point.
Yeah.
But then all the president has to do is pull out for, I don't know, a fixed period of time. They just go right back and do it again.
Yeah.
So they're going to, and they will, and I don't know when, but they will come to an agreement. And when that happens, oil is going to tank. The market's going to pop even more than it's popped now. And, you would have been smart to tune in here and listen, or listen to anybody else telling you, hey, what a great opportunity, because we were buying here last year around this time. So why aren't we buying here again?
Well, look what the market has done just on the potential outcome of a peace deal. Like when it actually is solidified, I can't wait to see what's going to happen. I mean, I know there's going to be some massive upside to be gained.
Excited.
I mean, just this week, Bitcoin jumped, I think, over the
76, 77 right now.
it's like 70, 75, 74, 75, something like that. It was bounced around today. That being said, with the peace deal talks, I mean, it popped over the last, call it, couple weeks. It's up like 12%. I mean, it's doing really, really since the break of the war, which I think it bottomed out around 60. It's now up to 74, 75. And again, I mean, these things are, it just shows you the appetite people have right now still in times of volatility for risk on assets.
Yeah, no, the people are layering into equities, and global equities are not where people are going. They're going to U.S. domestic equities. And it's because that's where the juice is right now. If we go back to the original catalyst before we started this conflict,
Yep.
AI, energy to drive AI, autonomous car technology, electronic car technology, flying vehicle. Those are the future. Quantum computing, synthetic intelligence, microchip development domestically in the United States. That's where the money is going to be at when everything and all the dust settles. The benefit for people who don't follow the crowd, and like my clients, is we load up, we hold on, we stick to our plan, and the outcome is incredible. I mean, we've seen huge upswings. And the thing is, if you would have been out of the market for the last 2 weeks, really like week and a half, you would have missed the whole rebound.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yep.
By trying to time the market. It's one thing. I was talking to an older client that I just onboarded from Fisher Investments. Shout out Fisher. They were really nervous about getting into the market because they had a really big down month. And I told them, let me do my thing. Let me figure out what we're going to do. We held in short-term bonds for a few days. And then on April 2nd, which I believe was Thursday before Good Friday, I'm looking at the market. I'm like, I think we bottomed out. And I confirmed March 30th. I was a little late to the party, but
It's better to be late than early.
Yeah, exactly. I was early with some other people. Sorry, but we're back in the green.
Yep.
It worked. And I mean, the accounts were up 6 almost percent in like 11 days, riding that full or almost full right up. And the thing is, now we have a plan. And so if the market starts to trip, we're not going to get out and go to cash. We already bought that stuff. We know what we bought. We're convicted of that. We stick to the plan. So my advice to everybody always, don't time the market. Spend time in the market. Load up when the market's down, and not with maybe your whole nut. But hey, if you have contributions going, increase them. I did. If you have a lump sum of money, put it to work. I advised many people, including a lot of listeners, to do that. They did. It takes a while for that to pan out sometimes, and you don't always get the bottom, but you still end up getting paid the whole ride down.
Mm-hmm.
That money's earning you interest. And then on the ride back up, it's a sweet, sweet, sweet ride.
Yeah.
So congratulations to everybody who did that. I think we should have carry through, and I'm hoping we get to, what, and I'm not going to say it.
Interest rate cuts?
No, I still think that's going to happen in July, but at a certain point in the market.
Oh, your all-time high?
We should hit ATH, but I really want to break 7 and hold.
Yeah, where's it at right now?
67, 69.
And it was kind of butting up against some resistance, and then it popped through, right? This week?
No, but 7,000 is a very big mental number for people.
That's like a psychological kind of...
Yeah, it's like a psychological wall people got to get over.
Yeah.
But if we hit it, hold it.
New range opens right up.
I'm excited. I'm very excited.
Well, let's talk about the things that could potentially hurt the market. Maybe. I mean, again, There hasn't been a ton that has really derailed it too much lately, but U.S. March PPI inflation rose to 4% today.
Core was down.
Core was down at 3.8%.
That's all that matters.
And then I think last week we saw PPI, or we saw CPI come in a little bit hotter, but again, and most of that was
Core didn't move, headline move. Yeah, core didn't move though, headline move.
Because energy inflation came in at 10.9%, which was really all driven by oil and the Iran conflict, which again, that has been dropping significantly. So it's really hard to...
Well, the year over year,
I don't think that's sticky, right? If we want to talk about real transitory inflation, which this is not the 2020 transitory inflation that they were talking about. Like, to me, this feels like any jumps or spikes in inflation that we might see during this conflict, I'm hoping, and you tell me, but it feels like it should be much more transitory than like what we saw post freaking COVID.
Correct. And it's always probably going to be on the headline number for the short term, because that means it's energy prices and it's not on the core number, which is indicative that it's energy prices, so something that's already volatile and removed from the equation for that reason. And year over year PPI was projected to be 3.9. That was the prior report. Expected to be 4.1. The prior report was 4.4. Can't remember. It was in the fours. It was prior 3.9. It was 3.8. So it went down by 0.1%. I've seen some things that said to the contrary, but it went down 0.1%. So producer price on the core side is going down. That should translate through into better inflationary data moving up. And this week is earnings week. We kick off another earnings season.
Okay.
So we're going to have some big companies really towards the end of this week and starting into next week and the following week. It's end of Q1.
Yep.
So we have Q1 numbers coming in this month. Earnings season is going to be really what we're talking about next week. We'll have some data to actually reference back to.
What are your expectations?
Good.
Good.
Yeah. Especially for energy companies.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
They're making a killing right now. Well, White House came out today noting that they estimate the U.S. is short at least 10 million single-family homes. The Wall Street Journal and the U.S. housing market, home sales declined 3.6% in March, getting the crucial spring selling season off to a poor start as high costs of housing and economic uncertainty held buyers back. Obviously, we saw rates jump a little bit during this whole conflict. Treasury, was kind of spiking around a little bit. So again, in volatile times like this, I think uncertainty just kind of keeps people stuck in their tracks. They don't feel super convicted in what they want to do. This is why, going back to Ryan's side, and what we say too, is like, based on what your plan is, if you want to buy a house and you have a long-term plan, a long-term budget, you got these things mapped out, trying to time the market. We saw a lot of people try and do that at the end of 22 and 23, and they sat on the sidelines for years, and there was actually good deals out there, right? So it's one of those things where I do think we will see, hopefully, to your point, July, and depending on how everything shakes out towards the end of the year,
about a 40% chance.
Maybe a second rate cut?
Hopeful.
Okay.
Yeah.
So more than anything, the commercial real estate market needs that, not as much as the single-family housing market. The single-family housing market is just kind of slow.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that it's fractured, that it's unstable, that there's major cracks. It's just not like what we saw in, the post-financial crisis. So I think that rate cuts will help get some activity rolling again, for sure. But really, the cracks and the distress that we are seeing is in the commercial space.
Agreed.
Specifically within certain asset classes. We all know what those are. But at this stage, what I am seeing, especially in debt markets, especially in equity markets, there's a lot of money that is actually anxious and needs to get put in work, put to work, put in play. So the challenge is just finding good deals right now. I mean, this has probably been the slowest season of deal flow for me in my entire career. It's really hard making the numbers pencil on a lot of deals based on the risk-reward ratio that most investors are used to over the last 20, 30 years. I mean, I talk to people that have been investing for multiple decades, and they're going, the last 2 to 3 years have been the most frustrating and challenging years of my career. And these are, white-haired dudes that have been doing deals since the 70s and 80s. And so I think if you're somebody that is a real estate investor, now if you're on the single family side, right, I'm not going to speak too much to that. It's a little bit simpler to find margin and alpha and make, models work, right? But in commercial real estate, there's a lot of different moving components that significantly tie into a lot of variables in the macro, the geopolitical, and the political landscapes, and therefore those can really shift and alter commercial real estate, financials and models making sense in a really big way. And right now, we are seeing a lot of distress tick up in certain asset classes. We're seeing lenders talk to borrowers by doing deeds in lieu. I was just talking with a family office yesterday, and they're doing 5 deeds in lieu right now, and they're doing them with like REITs and other family offices and hedge funds that are going, we don't want to service these anymore. We're going to write these off. You just take them back. I mean, those are the things that are starting to happen now, which at the end of the day can be a bad thing, but also a really good thing, because those are kind of the flushes and the resets that, just like the stock market has a cycle, just like the economy has a cycle, real estate has an actual cycle as well. And so I think we are kind of finding a little bit of, I think we're still on the downtrend a little bit. I think we'll start to see some more recovery over the next few years and really start to come out of it. And I think a lot of that is TBD on kind of what this next year or two policy-wise the Trump administration is able to push through, what they really kind of get set in stone, and people can really start to feel comfortable on what the future looks like. Specifically, obviously, interest rates are going to play a big role in that. The new Fed chair, which it did break that Mr. Powell officially said he will be stepping down. Did you see that?
I did not see
Yeah, so he will officially be stepping down. And there really isn't a ton of news breaking around Kevin Warsh and whether he's going to be the one that actually gets affirmed into that seat or not. But all I know is whoever Trump does nominate, it's going to be somebody that's going to be dovish and is going to be very aligned, at least from his perspective, with the policy, the economy, the markets that he wants to see going forward. And a big proponent of making those markets great is cheap rates, cheap money. So
that's like where my bet is.
Yeah,
because it's far enough. We have 2 meetings. It's far enough away to where we can get somebody in, and I think that's one of the first things that they're going to do.
Yeah. Yep. So is there anything else on your side that you are paying attention to in terms of kind of closing out Q or kicking off? Yeah, closing out Q1, kicking off Q2.
Just earnings this week.
Okay.
So I want to see inflation data was today. I wanted to see that come in and last week partially, but PPI was more important today. I want to see earnings this week. So I want to see that companies are still making money. Consumer spending is still strong. And then see where the seasonality is on the trends for spending. Is it moving into leisure? Is it moving into travel, which it should be because we're in the spring months, moving into summer? And how are people doing on meeting their debt obligations? So that's really where I'm at as far as what I'm focusing on. There's not much more to talk about as far as on the market's back. Hey, where should we continue to move forward? What will the year hold? I'm still hoping for low teen, mid-teen returns. I'm thinking we can be in that 76, 77 range still by the end of the year. That's about 10% up from where we are now. Actually, about 11 or 12. So I'm still very confident. With all that being said, my favorite thing to say, time will tell, but we'll have a lot more to talk about next week as far as with the earnings going.
Well, as always, we appreciate you guys tuning in. That's it for this week. If you want to connect with Ryan and his amazing team, just talk anything about your portfolio stocks, the market, text the word X-ray, 844-447-1555. That'll connect you guys with his team. And I can officially talk about it now. I have the SEC file paperwork I've got the PPM. I've got all of the documentation to officially, we already got some investors subscribing. So the Amagos Income Fund. Amagos Income Fund 1, the first fund, which it's going to be
SEC a gem.
It wasn't as difficult.
They're not that bad.
It wasn't as difficult as I thought it was going to be.
They're like the IRS
component.
They're not like the Franchise Tax Board.
Yeah,
they'll definitely bend you and send you, but as long as you're working with them, they're pretty easy.
Yeah, and I had a great attorney that honestly turnkey, had everything super dialed in, so it was great from that perspective. So really excited for, and this is just a debt fund, right? Doing loans to collateralized assets and collecting a monthly check. No, hey, this pro forma is going to do this, and we hope that we hit these returns and you'll get this beautiful upside. Nope. Just a fixed 10%, get a monthly check, true passive mailbox money. So if that is of interest to you, I've already got some loans that we are going to be putting that capital to work in. And we're really excited about that. So if that's something that you would like to discuss, you can head over to amagoscapital.com. We have the video, the presentation, the deck, all that on there. Or you can connect with me directly. Just text the word deals to 844-447-1555. Deals or income, same thing. As always, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Until next week, keep investing in yourself and your wealth on your march to the million and beyond. Cheers. Cheers, y'all.